This is what we are going to do in the copy job hands-on. I'll be copying records from PostgreSQL account and customer table to a lakehouse. Similarly, I'll copy files from blob storage, the remaining files, ledger, transaction, and loan files. I'll use copy job to copy the data from these files to a lakehouse, target lakehouse. For both the cases, our target would be Lakehouse, but the source would be a PostgreSQL server and Azure Data Lake storage. I'll be using the Finance DB, and as you already know, I have copied files to this Finance DB. There are two tables, account and customer. And if I do a select count star from these two tables, I should be able to see certain number of records. And these number of records or these many records should be copied from the PostgreSQL server to the Lakehouse. So there are 6 million rows in the account table and there are 2 million rows in the customer table. Also, I'll be creating primary key for these two tables. This is the command, alter table followed by the name of the table and then add primary key. So I've created primary key for the customer table also. So now I'm at the Fabric console and this is the workspace, 3am POC workspace. So let us go ahead and create a copy job, which is part of Data Factory. Click on new item. And here, as I already told you that we cannot find Data Factory as a workload. We'll have to use individual components of Data Factory. And one of them is copy job. You'll find copy job in the get data item itself. There are other items also which we'll talk about. The pipeline item that I was telling you is this one. So we can create pipeline using this. Anyway, I'll talk about pipeline, but let us go ahead and create a copy job first. This is going to be the name. And the copy job has been created, but of course I'll have to provide the sources and other things. So click on this and it will ask me to choose a data source, then choose data, choose destination, the mode, map to destination, etc. I'll be selecting PostgreSQL, so you can search PostgreSQL here. There are two flavors. One is PostgreSQL database, which can be from another cloud, which can be on Azure VM, which can be on-premise, but I want to use Azure database for Postgres. And here I'll have to provide the connection. So I'll have to provide the server name, the name of the database, and other connection details. So as I told you that I can create the connection separately, but when I create a copy job, the connection would be created automatically. And in the server name, I'll have to mention the endpoint and the database name would be FinanceDB. And it is asking me to create a new connection and I can provide the connection name here. Let's mention the name as this. No data gateway is needed. So there is only one authentication kind, which is basic. As I told you earlier that if you are using databases like Postgres, we do not need any other authentication because we'll have to use the database authentication itself. So that's what I'm selecting, basic, and the name of the user and the password. And then there is privacy level. It can be private, organizational, or public. Let's select the privacy level to be private. And post that, you can select whether you need encrypted connection or not. And you can also select whether this connection can be used with on-premises data gateways and virtual networks, which is not needed. So let's click next. And now the copy job is trying to connect to the data source, which is the Azure PostgreSQL server. All right, as you can see, the connection has been made, right? And these are the different tables which are available. So this is the server, then there is Azure storage account, and then we have this information schema, which are nothing but metadata tables. We do not need all of these. We only need the tables, which is public account and public customer. This connection is showing us all the system tables also. Of course, we do not need them. So I'll select public account and I can select only a few columns or all the columns. Here you see there's this data preview also for public.account table. The reason it is public.account because I had created the account table in public schema. So that's why it is schema name dot table name. Similarly, I can select the customer table also, and I can select the columns which I want to copy over. It does not necessarily mean that you'll have to copy all the columns. You can select and choose the columns that you want to copy over. And this is the transformation that you can do. This is the first lightweight transformation, which is nothing but selecting or choosing the columns which you want to copy. So I'm selecting both the tables, the account table and the customer table, and all the columns from these two tables. Then we have to select the destination. There are various different destinations. We can use a lakehouse, we can use a warehouse, and we can use a SQL database also. There are other destinations also that you can use. We can use Oracle database or ODBC driver. Of course, I'll be selecting Lakehouse, and I have not created any Lakehouse because I have not talked about it. But for this copy job, I need to select a Lakehouse. That's why I'll have to create a Lakehouse, or the copy job will create the Lakehouse for me. And this is the name. We cannot have hyphens in the Lakehouse. Let's create the Lakehouse and connect. Then we have the copy job mode. So there are two types of copy job modes. One is the full copy and the other one is the incremental copy. Now full copy will copy all data at once, which is actually a one-time job that will copy all the data which is there in the source system, and then it will stop. Of course, we can execute it multiple times, but every time it will copy all data from source to target. The second option is the incremental copy, which initially copies all data, which is nothing but the full copy itself, and in the subsequent runs, it will copy only the data changes. I'm selecting incremental copy, and here we have this override destination on full load preview. Anyway, I'll not use this because this is in preview mode. Click on next, and then I'll have to map it to the destination. Whether should I create tables in Lakehouse or whether should I create files. And then we have the target mode that I was talking about. This is the target mode. There are three different options. One is append, the other one is override, and the other one is merge. For Lakehouse, override is not possible. You can select only append or merge. So I'll be selecting merge. If I select merge, it will insert the new rows and it will update the existing rows. So this is the map to destination, and in the destination table, which is public underscore account, it has been created automatically. I'll have to select the account ID if I use merge. If I use append, there is no key columns that are needed, but if I select merge, I have to provide key columns as you see here. So I'll have to select key columns from both the tables because these are the only two tables that I'm planning to copy. So for public account, I'll select account ID, and for public customer, I'll select customer ID. Then click on next, and then we have settings, which should be the incremental column. Now, why we are using incremental column? Because I have mentioned incremental copy. So that's why it has to have an incremental column based on which the update or modifications at the source table should be tracked. So all the modifications will be tracked based on these tables. So in case of public account, these are the columns that it is showing. Let us use account ID for the account table, and for customer table, I'll be selecting customer ID. Click on next, and that's it. So it gives you all the options that we have provided. So the source is the PostgreSQL server, which is Azure PostgreSQL, and I'm selecting incremental copy. This is the connection name, and there are two tables, and the destination is Lakehouse. This is the name of the Lakehouse, and in the Lakehouse, two tables should be created, and it will start the data transfer immediately. Then we have various run options. If you want to run it once or you want to run on schedule. If I select run once, then it will just run once and then it will stop. If I select run on schedule, we can mention if I want to repeat the run hourly on an hourly basis or by the minute. So I'm selecting by the minute and I'm mentioning every 15 minutes. This is the start date and this is the end date. So basically there's no end date as such because this is a continuous process that would happen. Now I can save it and then run it. So in this case, my copy job has started, and here I can look at the status of the copy job. Currently you see the status has not been started here. Once the status is started, it will show me the number of rows read, the number of rows written, the duration, the run start, and so on. So let's wait for some time for some rows to be read and then written, then we'll come back. So you see the copy job has succeeded. From source, it has read 2 million rows and it has written 2 million rows in the Lakehouse. From the customer table, from account table, it has read 6 million rows and it has written 6 million rows to the account table also. And the duration was only 1 minute and 11 seconds. And this was a full copy. So you see the load type is full copy. The reason it is full load because I have selected incremental copy, and when the job starts for the first time, it will copy all the data from source to target, and then it will copy every 15 minutes. So you see here it shows that copy every 15 minutes starting December 12th, so on so time. Now I will make some changes in the source system, and I will try to see whether those changes are captured and updated or not. But before that, let's look at the target table that has been created. So I go to the workspace, and here you see this lakehouse has been created, and the name of the lakehouse is copy job lakehouse target, the way I had created, and it is providing this SQL analytics endpoint. I have not talked about SQL analytics endpoint yet, but if I click it, it will be opened, and there are two tables that you can see. And at the top, you see there are multiple different tabs that has been opened. This is the copy job tab, and this is the lakehouse tab. And this is the account table or public underscore account, and this is the public customer table. So you see a lot of records, almost all the records have been copied over in the lakehouse. Ine will talk about lakehouse later on. Now what will I do is that I'll go ahead and make some changes in the source account table with this account ID 300100, and change the currency code to Indian rupees. I have enabled CDC in Azure PostgreSQL, and then I had made multiple changes. And one of the changes is that I had changed the currency code to USD when account opening date is more than 31st December 2022. And if I select the count where the currency code is USD, I get approximately 310,000 rows, but the currency code INR has 5.68 million rows. So there have been a lot of changes in the source PostgreSQL database. Now, if I go to the copy job, you can see that the load type is incremental here. So there have been a lot of incremental loads, and a lot of incremental loads have run, but the data has not changed. So let me show you. Let's go to workspaces and look at the data. This is the Lakehouse target that I have created, and we can use the Lakehouse target SQL analytics endpoint to do queries or to run SQL queries. So this is the query where I'm running a select count star where currency code is USD. So you see the number of rows are 0. And if you use currency code INR, then it would give me 6 million rows. So it means that Data Factory copy job does not recognize PostgreSQL CDC changes yet. If you use SQL Server database instead of PostgreSQL, then it would have worked. But I wanted to show you how you can look at that. So the things that we have covered here is how to create a job, how to create a copy job and an incremental job from PostgreSQL or any SQL database source to a Lakehouse target. And then we have also seen that after we create the job, the Lakehouse target was created automatically, and we got an SQL analytics endpoint. If you open the Lakehouse target, then we can see these two tables, the public account and the public customer, which has been copied over using a full-time load. Because if you enable incremental load, the first copy would always be a full load, and that load copied all the rows. But after that, we made a lot of changes, and all those changes were not recognized by Fabric Data Factory copy job because we have not used a supported source. Had it been SQL Server, then Data Factory would have copied all the changes and replicated them to the Lakehouse target.